Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Beauty Club Live. I'm Leanne Perilly, and this is Justine Warwick.
Hello, nice of you to join us. We're just going to wait for a few moments to let some people come on because it's only just gone 11, so we'll give people a chance to join us.
We're just going to take a slow intro this morning.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us. We are going to be talking about bridal makeup and special occasion makeup today. So we hope we'll be able to get out and about when things start opening again. So we're going to help you look amazing for going out, and hopefully that'll be soon. Yeah. Do we have any idea when restaurants are opening?
Well, I saw something this morning saying that there's been a leak of documents and it's supposed to be opening from the 4th of July, which is the date that's been bandied around quite a lot. Certainly pubs being able to serve drinks in the garden, but you won't be able to go up to the bar. It will have to be delivered to your table. And I'm not sure how they're going to do it with restaurants. I think that's going to be a lot more difficult. So I think it's just a case of, well, even for the hair and beauty industry, although they're working towards the 4th of July, they're not going to find out until this week whether they can go back to work. Like I said, really.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're sort of waiting to hear. I think it must be really difficult for salons to operate on that basis. They've kind of got to get themselves ready for the 4th of July, but they're really not going to know until quite late in the day.
No, I mean, this is what we're waiting for in terms of bridal makeup, isn't it? Is venues reopening. So we're desperate to get back to work. And we're missing our wedding season, which is why we wanted to focus on bridal makeup today, just because we're missing it so much.
Well, I think, because normally we would be working flat out. This is like certainly the busiest time of year for us with weddings and proms, as well as all the other things like trials and makeup lessons and things like that. So we sort of sat down and thought about maybe what people would be interested in hearing about. And maybe people are going to be more inclined in the short term to want to do their own makeup for special occasions. So we thought, why don't we give some information about how we achieve long-lasting makeup looks, and people can practice at home whilst they're sort of in the environment where there's not a lot else to do. It's the perfect time to be creative.
Yeah, I mean, it's although we can't wait to get back to work and doing what we love, but you may not feel comfortable having one of us or a makeup artist come in to get you ready for your special occasion. So this is why we wanted to talk about special occasion makeup as well today, so that we can give you some tips on how to make your makeup look great and stay on better throughout the day. I know a lot of people don't have a different regime from day to evening. So even for special occasions and events. So it's just trying to give you a few tips on how to, make that extra special, if you like. And so you don't have to worry about doing touch-ups as well, because that can be, you just want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to be worrying about your makeup throughout the day, but you don't want to, go to the ladies in the evening and see that half your makeup slipped off either. So let us know. We want you to ask questions. What are your
Let's come on as well. So say hello. Joe Bayman has said, how do we get you on the iPad, please? I don't have an iPad. So if you just go onto Facebook, either using your internet like Safari, or I don't know whether you've got a Facebook app on your iPad, and then go on to the Beauty Club page, then you should be able to see us from there. So I hope you're going to be able to see us that way.
Yeah, if you log on to your Facebook account, it should take you in. Sometimes go into notifications. Hi, Nicola. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you. Go into notifications or just go into the page. Sometimes I find I have to go into notifications to get the live to come up. So look at both options and hopefully you'll find us. Brilliant.
That's great. That's great, Lisa. Thanks for letting us know. Hi Claire, nice to have you with us this morning. Don't forget to send through any questions. It doesn't have to be about bridal or special occasion makeup. We're happy to answer any makeup questions that you've got. But we thought people would be interested in how they could make perhaps small changes to their makeup routine to get better results, more long-lasting results. So,
yeah, please put your questions in the comments and hit the share button, share with friends and anyone else that you know on Facebook. So we'd love for as many people to benefit this as possible. If we don't get around to answering your question this morning, then we will put it in the comments from this post or on the page. So don't worry if we don't get around to it. We will eventually, and we will be putting all the products that we are showing you today as well on the comments in the page. So
yep.
Don't worry, you'll be able to, go ahead and purchase any products that you like the look or sound of. And all the products that we recommend, they're tried and tested. So Justine and I use them in our kits day in, day out, and we don't use anything that we don't absolutely 100% rely on, that are guaranteed for brilliant results. So we're really, really fussy about the products that we use to get the results that we need, making sure that bridal makeup is perfect and special occasion makeup lasts for the duration. So we're not linked to any brand, so all our recommendations are completely impartial and independent. So we're not selling a product.
Because we get asked a lot, don't we, what our favourite products are, or what favourite brand there is, but we really do have the pick of every brand. So Charlotte Tilbury, I really like their eye palettes and their lipsticks and bronzers, but with MAC I always love their eyeshadows and some of the primer products. So we really do use a little bit of everything, and I think that rather than just sticking to one brand, although that's sometimes easy to do.
Yeah, mix and match. I know it is, if you like a particular brand, I know people can be loyal to a brand, but really mix it up, think outside of the box and keep your options open. There's loads of online stuff as well, so which I know people have been looking into throughout lockdown. We're always happy to make recommendations if you want, if you don't see something that you like the look of, but you want us to recommend, and we do that all the time on the Beauty Club. So that's what it's about. It's about sharing our knowledge and expertise with you, just to make life a bit easier, really. Hi, Netta.
I think Liz has asked for the best primer to make sure makeup stays flawless all day. We will be covering that. Hi, Netta. Lovely to have you with us. I think if we just get started, we were going to be talking about bridal and special occasion makeup, obviously, which we've already said. We've both got between us sort of 20 years experience of doing bridal makeup, and it is our passion. We love working with our brides, getting to know the brides, and being with the brides on their most special day. It does feel like a privilege to be part of that circle of really close family and friends. So we're really missing that at the moment.
I feel a bit choked.
Oh, I know, but it will all come back. And we've got lots of weddings booked for next year where people have unfortunately had to postpone their weddings. So it's really important to us to keep motivated and keep talking about makeup because we are so passionate about it, and that's why we want to share all our knowledge with you. One of the things we were going to say was I don't know how long you spend doing your makeup on a daily basis. It might be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But when we do makeup for our clients, we spend at least an hour doing makeup, and that kind of gives you an idea of you might need to spend a little bit longer to get a longer lasting effect, but it will be worth it because you're not going to have to do touch-ups throughout the day. So that's something to bear in mind, because I think sometimes when we go and work on weddings, some people think that we're going to be able to do their makeup in about 10 minutes, which we could, but in order to get the look that we want and the best results and the flawless finish, you do have to spend time over it, and there's a process that we follow to achieve that. So I think that's important to understand, that you need to spend a bit of time.
Yeah, the result you get is equal to the effort that you put in, and it is just about, and we're going to show you this morning how to do that, but it is an hour, especially with bridal makeup, even special occasion makeup too, and that's the difference.
I think it's really important, because one of the things we were going to say is generally if you have a special occasion that you're getting ready for, or your wedding, then just practice as much as you can. Just practice, try different colours, try different techniques. I think I know that I'm really guilty of this as well, is that if I'm going out for a night out, I give myself a minimum amount of time to get ready. And then if my makeup doesn't look how I expected it to, or the outfit I've selected isn't quite right, it's too late to do anything else. So I think if you've got a special occasion, and like say you've got a special birthday that you're celebrating and you want to look your best, it's good to practice the looks and really get used to the techniques, and then you'll get quicker and quicker with it as well.
Practice really builds up your confidence, because for a lot of people it is about confidence. They don't have the confidence to achieve the look that they want. And just by practicing and seeing you get a good result, that's going to really build your confidence.
I was also given a really good tip by a top NARS makeup artist once, and she said the best time she felt for her to practice looks that she would be doing on photo shoots was last thing at night. So in the evening she would try out all of these things, because then she's going to take her makeup off. So if she's not happy with the look, she's not going to be wearing it all day. And I think that's something else that you can consider as well, if you just want to have a play around, but you don't necessarily want anyone else to see it, to do it last thing at night when you're going to take it all off anyway.
And something that I always recommend is to, I mean, that's a really great tip if you fancy doing that last thing at night. That is a good time to practice. But if you just make tweaks, don't kind of, especially with the eye makeup, if you're kind of halfway through and you're not liking it, just make tweaks to it. Don't kind of take the whole thing off and start again. Just keep going with it, and sometimes that will, the end result will work out better than if you keep taking it off. And sometimes you don't want to make the skin sore either.
So I think that's a really important point, actually, because sometimes you feel like it's not looking the way you want it to look, especially with a smoky eye, for example. You think, oh my goodness, this is not what I expected, but you have to persevere with it. And then once you've got everything on, your base, your highlighter, bronzer, lipstick, it just can all come together. And we find that, Leanne, don't we, when we work, because we always do eyes first.
We always do eyes first, which is, a lot of people do know this technique now. But as Justine and I were just talking before we came on, and I had this happened to me this morning with the Stila eyeshadow colours that I was using. I had a lot of fallout, so a lot of the eyeshadow colours are really finely milled, and you'll find, particularly when you're using darker colours, that they will drop under the eye. When you're applying up here, they actually drop under here. So then you get this not very lovely darkness and powder in there. So that's the reason we do the eyes first, is that we don't want to mess up the base. If you do your base first, you could potentially mess it up, and then you've got to take it off and redo it. So it's time saving as well.
But it can look scary, can't it, when you've got your eyes done and they're quite made up, but you've got no makeup on the rest of your face. So
definitely,
I do sort of warn clients to say, I know this might look scary, but bear with me. And then it all looks lovely, it just all comes together. So to just be aware of that, really, and persevere with it.
It does look really strange when you've just done your eye makeup, and it doesn't look complete. So please trust us on this. Have a go, try it out, go with it. And then, like Justine says, once you've got the rest of your makeup on, you think, yeah, the eyes look great, but they do look a bit strange. So it's just trying it out, really.
And build it up gradually as well, I think, rather than going in with like, really dark colours to begin with, like on this palette. You would go in with some lighter colours, and then you can add a little bit of time, because it's much easier doing it that way than going in too dark and too heavy. It's more difficult to remove it to make it look softer. So that's another little tip there.
I always practice with the kind of mid colours. Practice your blending. So blending, this is on the eyes. Practice, blending the colour so it's just blurring the colour. So you get that.
We'll talk a little bit about blending, because I think a lot of people hear the term. I know when I did my makeup training, it was bandied around a lot, and I didn't really understand what it meant. But it's about softening the colours, isn't it?
Yeah, so what we don't want to see is a line. So when you're doing your eyeshadow, and you can see it more clearly on Justine, I think, where she's got a beautifully blended line between the darker socket colour and her highlight under the brow. So we want that beautifully blurred. We don't want to see any lines. And you've probably discovered when you start using eyeshadow darker colours, a line appears. And that's not what we want to see. So blending is just blurring those lines. And we tend to use a slightly fluffier, kind of larger eyeshadow brush to do that. So that will give a nice blend. But make sure your brushes are nice and clean, because you'll get a lovely clean effect to your makeup, rather than if they are dirty, it can just get a sort of muddy effect.
Yeah, so I think that's really important, because maybe back in the 80s you would have more severe lines, whereas now it's lovely to see that where one colour finishes, you can't see where the next colour begins, because they kind of just all blended beautifully. So just have a very light application, don't you, with that brush, just sort of very lightly touching the shadow to blend, so that you're not blending it away.
And sometimes different brands blend more easily than others, or brushes blend more easily than others as well. So if you're struggling with one product or one brush, try another brush, try another product, try another brand. I mean, even like the Morph, I think the Morph palettes are so good because they're really reasonably priced and they blend beautifully, and they've got so much pigment to them. So as pro makeup artists, that's what we're always looking for, is the amount of intensity of colour and the blendability. That's what we want, because we want it makes it easier.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not a lot of pigment to it, so if you put it on and there's not much colour there or intensity, then that's going to be difficult for you to do. So
prior to lockdown, I would have, if I was looking at eyeshadows, I would go into a shop and I would put some on the back of my hand just to see how strong the colour was, and then I would give it a little blend to see how it went. If it went patchy, then I would know that would go patchy on my eye, so it would be very easy to work with. Post lockdown, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know what they're going to be doing about makeup testers and things like that. We'll just have to wait and see. But we're always happy to recommend brands that we know work well, and it just takes out some of the choice that you have in the shops if we can guide you to specific brands that might work well for you.
And it does happen to all of us at some point, that patchiness, or it doesn't go perfectly. I've been with top industry makeup artists in this country, and that's happened to them. That it hasn't quite gone on as smoothly as they would have liked, and then they just adjust it. Yeah. So it does happen to all of us at some point. It's not just you. It doesn't happen perfectly for us every time. That's impossible, and we're still learning too. We love learning new techniques and stuff. So, and that's what we want to pass on to you. Yeah. So should we go on to prepping and price?
Yeah, so whilst we're talking through this, obviously there's a couple of questions come up which we hope that we will cover. But any other issues that you have with makeup, and what things do you find when you're doing your makeup, what areas don't last? So do you have a problem with the eye makeup not lasting, or foundation, that kind of thing? And then we'll try and help you with those. But we thought we would, before we go on to this, can we just mention our Instagram competition? Because I meant to mention this at the top. We've also got a beauty club page on Instagram, and we're running a prize giveaway there at the moment. So if you head over to Instagram, then it's got all the details. You just have to follow our page and tag a friend in and tell us any makeup dilemmas you've got. And you can win an online masterclass with myself and Leanne, where we can just talk to you about makeup. We can design that around your needs and what you want to know. So that's very exciting. That's going to close this Friday. So head over to Instagram, to the Beauty Club Essex, and join that, and hopefully you'll win. So,
we'll put the link in the comments. Can't wait to do a masterclass with somebody. So that'll be super exciting. Really looking.
Morning, Sharon. Lisa wants to know, Leanne, what lip and eye colours are you wearing?
Okay, let's just go. I'll just grab a palette. I've got a bit bored lately, so I have gone to another palette. And I do have, so I have a bronzer as a base, as my eyeshadow. And then I have, I don't know, this is a Stila palette. And this is, I'll tell you in a mo which one it is. But I've actually used, so on top of the bronzer, I've used this greeny colour.
Lovely, I love that.
Sort of fairly low down, but all the way across. And then I've added the silver. Sorry, it's the wrong way around. The silver one here. I've layered that over the top. So I've used this one and this one, and I've layered them. And what I find is that sometimes when I put the green one on first, it looks a bit crap. It doesn't look great because it's kind of, it's not a matte, but it's not highly shimmery either. It doesn't look brilliant. But once I put the overlay of the silver, it just really comes together. So thank you, Lisa. Yeah, I love that combination.
And you wouldn't experimenting with it, isn't it? And not feeling like you just got to wear one colour on its own.
Yeah. I mean, Justine and I do go out of we work out of the box a bit. But yeah, so it just goes to show you wouldn't think about putting silver over the top of bronze.
No.
But the green complements the two. And the lip colour is I will show you. It is one of the MAC.
Is it a MAC lipstick, Leanne?
It's a MAC lipstick, yeah. It has to be MAC, and it's one of their Love Me lipsticks, which is this what do they call it?
I don't know what the collection's called, but it's a new range that they've got.
Love Me is the collection, and it's French silk, so it's like a peachy. I love this one.
Really nice.
That's my summer lipstick colour.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
They're quite hydrating, aren't they? That range is quite hydrating.
Yes. So there you go. So I'll put those in the comments as well, so you can always get those. The palette is Hope, Eyes Are the Windows, but I'll put all the information in the comments so you can get that one on the Stila website. So yeah, ask any questions that you want to ask.
Start with special occasion, won't we? And there is a lot of overlap between special occasion and bridal, because ultimately bridal is the most special occasion you're ever going to have. But in terms of prepping and in terms of the things that will help your makeup last longer. So yeah, sometimes it's about just making small changes to what you already do, rather than think you've got to design a whole new makeup look. It could just be that you try more of a statement lip. If you're not used to wearing a stronger colour, you can try that, and that can completely transform your look. So sometimes it's a bit overwhelming to think that you've got to learn eye looks, foundation, the rest of the bronzer, and as well as lips. So sometimes just concentrate on changing one thing. That might really change the way your makeup looks, but also give you more confidence that it's such a small change and can really bring together an outfit or a look. So I think that's one thing to bear in mind.
Yeah, primers. So Justine and I never ever do a special occasion or bridal makeup without a primer. It just would be a complete no-no. We have to use a primer. It's absolutely essential. And we assess somebody's skin type and what their needs are prior to deciding what primers we use. And how many have we got? About 6, 4, 5.
I don't know if you can see that. These are the primers in my kit. Because basically what a primer does is it's a bit like if you put a base coat on underneath your nail varnish. It provides a nice base for the next layer of makeup to go on, and it makes it last longer, but it can also address certain issues that you might have with your skin. So I know we've discussed this before, but I think primers for us are really key, aren't they, in terms of makeup application. So Smashbox do a good range of primers. We've posted about these on the page before. This green one, whilst it looks a bit scary, will tone down any redness to the skin, and it has a lovely consistency to it. So when you put that over the face, and you only need to apply this really in the areas of redness, then it will neutralise the redness, and it makes the makeup afterwards glide on beautifully. So, oh, is Leanne breaking up a little bit there?
Am I?
Oh no, you're back in the room. And this photo finish one, I never know where I'm supposed to be showing this to. This is a general one that I use for a lot of people. If they don't have any specific skin concerns, then I will use this one because it kind of covers everything. So when I'm talking about skin concerns, it could be redness to the skin, it could be excess oil, it could be that your skin's really dry, if you've got pores that you feel are enlarged that need smoothing over. So we've got this Smashbox one as well, don't we, which is a one-stop shop really, a hybrid between moisturiser and primer. So that's quite a quick and easy one to use.
It's a brilliant makeup base. It's really lightweight, so it goes under foundations really well, and it's got priming properties to it as well. So if you don't want to buy lots and lots of different products, that one, Smashbox, I just think they're the market leader in primers. I should be working for Smashbox, but they do. They're really, really good. And the main reason for primer is to make your makeup go on better and stay on longer. That's the purpose of it. And we're already kind of thinking about setting a makeup before we even apply the makeup. That's the purpose of it. So anyone of sort of our age or older will know that we used to set makeup with powder years ago, and we still do to some degree, but formulas have changed, and it's all about getting a glowy kind of skin. So setting starts with priming. I use a primer every day. Do you use a primer under your makeup every day?
Yes, I do. The one I'm wearing today is my personal one, and that's MAC Prep and Prime. That's got a factor 50 in it. And I like that. It really seems to grab the makeup, because I have always had, I know I say this every time, I've got combination skin, which meant that when the oil starts coming through, it will break the foundation down. And I know Amy came on to our live yesterday and asked about how to make foundation last longer. And Lisa, this will be good for you as well, looking at primers. So the oils coming through would just break the foundation down and it would slip off. So if I looked halfway through the day, it would virtually disappear. But once I introduced a primer into my routine, it made all the difference, because I haven't got time to be touching up my makeup halfway through the day. I just want to put it on in the morning and take it off in the evening and not do anything other than apply lipstick in between. So they're definitely key products to have, aren't they? And you can get some that have got like radiance to them. I've got like a matte Prep and Prime. That's got a bit of a sheen to it, so you can put that under your foundation and it will help to give you a bit more of a glow. So really, Lisa, when it comes to the best primer to make sure your makeup stays flawless, it's about looking at what skin type you've got as well, and that will, if you want to give us some information about that, we can steer you in the right direction. But I mean, generally I've gone for, I prefer going for these sorts of brands rather than the cheaper primers that you get on the high street. I think sometimes the stuff you get in Boots and Superdrug is brilliant, like mascaras and lip pencils and various things like that. But when it comes to primers, I've always found that the sort of pro brands are the best. And Smashbox is designed, they're called Photo Finish. So they are designed to make the skin look the best that it can possibly look under cameras and lights. So that's why they're a good range.
They do last a long time, don't they? Because you don't need to use loads and loads of the product. And I find, rather than a moisturiser, these are smoothed over the top of the surface of the skin. So they will wash off. They're not going to help with your skin problems.
Yeah.
So it's just a temporary layer. But yeah, kind of smooth from the centre, smooth the primer over the skin rather than kind of trying to rub it in.
Yeah, you can sort of press it in. If it's for pores and things like that, you can sort of press it in like that. You can apply it with a brush as well. It's personal preference. Nicola's asking the best primer for dehydrated skin. Well, I would say to ensure that you try to up the hydration of your skin anyway, drinking more water and using a moisturiser that will sit well under makeup. So I like to use Embryolisse, which is a French brand. It suits most skin types. It's supposed to be a makeup primer as well, but I don't use it for that. I use it as a moisturiser. Let your moisturiser sink in. And then the one that I use for dehydrated skin is actually by Illamasqua, and it's called Hydra Veil. And it's it's like a gel. I don't know if you can see, it's a bit like jelly. Can you see the consistency of that? If I put some on the back of my hand, it's really, it's like cooling and hydrating. So this is quite an unusual feel for a primer, I would say, but that is because it is meant to hydrate the skin as well. What about you, Leanne? What would you normally use on dehydrated skin?
I was just thinking about the Laura Mercier Illuminating Primer. That's really nice, isn't it? I haven't got
that. Yeah.
Sorry?
I've got that one, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice. Is there other ones? I'm just trying to think of. I'm using, I've got today on a Pat McGrath skin fetish, but it's just a more of a smoothing one. So Lisa's also asking about dry and slightly aging. So I think we tend to go for something like this, or the Arbonne, which Justine just showed you as well, which is like silk. So for smoothing, these ones tend to be slightly better. Everyone loves the Arbonne. It is absolutely beautiful. So
a lot of people haven't heard of Arbonne, have they? It's a brand that you would normally buy through a consultant. They do foundation, they do other makeup as well as healthy lifestyle products as well. But we can certainly, if people are interested, we can certainly give you more details on that.
There's loads of, there are quite a few. Most people do know an Arbonne consultant, but if you don't, we can always put you in the right direction, or you can just order online. But yeah, that is a lovely range of products. And
so going back to the Smashbox though, Lisa, they do such a wide range, and I think that they do travel sizes as well, so you could always try them and see how you get on. I don't know whether you already use a primer and it's not working for you, but the key words are looking for something that's hydrating, I think, because that will help keep your skin hydrated throughout the day. And also looking at the formulations of foundation as well, which we'll come on to.
At the moment, I'm using Emma Hardy. I don't know if you can see that. That's Protect and Prime SPF 30. So it's a light kind of moisturiser. It's got priming properties, and it's an SPF 30 as well. So I'm really liking that at the moment.
Lovely. It's lovely products there.
Yeah, so many products. We also use ones for oily skin, if people have super oily skin or oilier in the T-zone.
I think that's probably where primers really come into their own, because if people do have oily skin, that can really affect the foundation, especially the longevity of it. So I would say most brands would do a primer specifically for oily skin. I used Illamasqua again, which this was Illamasqua, their mattifying primer, but I need to replace that, and I'm not sure what I'm going to replace that with. I'm trying not to buy too much stuff at the moment, because obviously with lockdown it might be a little while before we get to use our products, so I need them all to be new and fresh, so it gives me time to research that.
So with your primers, the steps are to do your normal cleanse and moisturize in the morning or whenever you prepping your makeup, and then just I'd allow kind of 30 seconds to a minute, maybe a couple of minutes, just for the moisturizer to absorb into the skin, and then smooth on your primer over the top of your moisturizer. Allow that again another minute or two, just to. It's not going to absorb as much as your moisturizer, but just to settle, and then you can apply your foundation. So the primer goes underneath the foundation.
Yeah,
and that's can be a little bit confusing. So yeah, always in that order. And then if we go on to just talking about foundation, and I know Claire asked what foundation would you recommend for older skin so it doesn't highlight wrinkles. So there's many different formulations. You do need something a little bit lighter, but still giving a sort of fairly good coverage. And yes, if you're wearing a foundation that's very full coverage, it can highlight wrinkles. So you need to avoid, the full coverage. Sometimes the longer wear foundations are they can be liquid, but they can be slightly drier. And the way that they work is that because they haven't got as much oil in them, they tend to grab and hold. But that process, without getting too technical, can actually sit in line. So we're looking for something. Sometimes your primer can counteract that. So you can get a good effect with the primer and then a long wear foundation. So the primer and the foundation, work really closely together. And that's something else that's something you need to test out. And that's something that when Justine and I are doing a bridal trial, just coming on to Bridal a little bit, is that's what we're testing. So it's not only about designing, the perfect bridal look for our bride to be, it's also testing out the products, because although we love the products that we use and they are tried and tested, we don't know how they're going to act on your skin until they're literally on your skin. So the trial is about testing those out as well and ensuring that, the longevity of the products, the finish is there so that they're going to stay on. And it's a difficult thing. It's not an easy thing to get right. So this is where kind of getting testers and samples of products and getting the combination of your primer and your foundation right will really help you.
So Claire, I mean, it's great. Congratulations on getting married next year, because you're thinking in advance. And we would normally want to do a bridal trial, wouldn't we? Well in advance. So that if you need to tweak your skincare routine, you've got plenty of time to do that and get your skin in the best condition before that time. But it also means that you could start thinking about or looking at different foundation formulas and getting samples. I don't know how that's going to work in this current environment, but I'm sure a lot of companies will have ways of still being able to get testers out to you. There is a website called Foundation. You heard of this one, Leanne? Where you already know what shades of foundation you are in certain brands. You can put that in, and then it will come back with a list of matches in other brands. So that can give you a little bit of an idea if you're looking at something new, but you're not sure what shade to get. I would say I've got the Laura Mercier. It's a long-lasting. I'll have to have a look at that and put a link in. But I think because I'm looking at foundations for more mature skin, so that's something that I'm trying out at the moment. And the Laura Mercier foundation is lovely. It's still quite hydrating and looks quite fresh. But of course, Laura Mercier do primers as well, so they will sit really well together. You can mix brands, and we do that all the time. But really, if you're not all that sure what to look at, then you get the same primer and foundation, or if you get primer and foundation from the same brand, they are designed to work well together. So I'd say that Laura Mercier is a good brand to look at, and Yves Saint Laurent I absolutely love. I'm sure I just talk about the same products all the time. This is it's Touche Éclat, and I quite like this. It's got a good coverage, but it's still got quite a glow to it rather than looking very flat. And I love using this on wedding days, like on Mother of the Bride and things like that. It always gives a beautiful finish, lovely range of colours. So I think that those two would be good to look at, and I can put the link for those on our page. So hopefully that will help. But now's a really good time to be looking and testing different foundations and things like that.
Yeah, it's a good start early and prep early. That's brilliant, Claire. Another thing I've discovered, I'm just going to show you. I'm not using it. I want to use it more in my kit. Is the face tape by Tarte. It's an American brand. They also do a more moisturising formula. So they've got about 3 different formulas.
Okay.
But they really they give a nice coverage, not too heavy, because Justine and I like a really natural, flawless coverage without. You don't want it too thick or heavy, and all our clients say it doesn't. They can't even feel the makeup on the skin, which is how we like it to be. But I love this because it feels weightless. But their shape tape and face tape are trademarked, and they stay on really, really well. So I actually want to invest. I love this so much that I want to invest, and it's great. It's like vegan, cruelty free, paraben free. It's such a good range of products.
And
They
I
do
heard,
concealer as well.
sorry, they do what? Sorry,
Concealer.
Yeah, I know you love concealer, don't you?
Tape is so this brand kind of
I've
ticks
got
a lot
another
of.
palette from them as well.
It's nice. It's nice stuff. So yeah, could be. It's called Double Duty Beauty. Is their trademarked, and it's really good. It's really
I
good.
first heard about Tarte because I'm a huge QVC fan, which is why I mention it every time we do one of these. But it does it when you watch QVC, they demonstrate the products. They tell you how you can work out what colour you're likely to be. They do really good deals as well when they do packages, and you can try when you order it. You can try it for 30 days and send it back and get your money back if it doesn't work for you. So it's a really good way of trying that, because we've ordered quite a few bits from Tarte during lockdown, haven't we? And it's coming over from the States, even though you go onto a UK website. So I still like watching the QVC, the way they demonstrate them, and they give you more information about the product and how it works and what skin type it would suit. So that's well worth having a look at. Lisa's asked a really good question, because this is something we haven't mentioned yet. What should we avoid to not get flashback on the photos? So flashback is when you have your photo taken under flash photography. There can be something in your makeup or skincare that will flash back, which means you appear really like pale and drained in the photos, even though you don't look like that in real life. And you might have seen celebrity photos where they're out on a night out, they've got lovely makeup, but when their photos taken with a flash, you can see where their concealer's been put, because that's got a product in there that will cause flashback. So I meant to look this up. I think it's titanium dioxide, isn't it?
It is, which is in a lot of sun care products, sun protection products. Yeah. It is. You're absolutely right. So it is a bit difficult because you don't want for every day, but on a wedding day you don't necessarily need. You might need an SPF if it is a really hot day. I found though that this one I got, this La Roche-Posay one, is an SPF 50, and it can be sprayed over the top of makeup amazingly, and it doesn't give flashback.
That's brilliant idea. I think a lot of the time, yeah, when you buy foundations, if they've got a higher SPF in, then they're more likely to give flashback. So an example of that is Estee Lauder Double Wear is a beautiful foundation. You know, it's full coverage. It's one of the best-selling foundations in the country, but it does give flashback. So I wouldn't use it on bridal, even though it's long-lasting. It's got all those other properties that are really good. So it's about when you're buying these products, and we have to be careful for our kit to make sure that our products don't have flashback in them. So I think like the Yves Saint Laurent one would, well, none of my ones would have flashback in them, but if you're purchasing a different brand, then it's a good question to ask at the time of purchase to make sure that it hasn't got anything that will flash back. And they will know whether if you go to a counter, for example, they will know whether it flashes back or not. So that's a really...
We don't use a lot of products with SPF in, do we, for that reason?
I mean, there are some, aren't there, that have got SPF in that don't flash back, but the rule of thumb is try and get something without an SPF or a really low one. And for me personally, I can't see the point of putting SPF in foundation anyway, because if it says it's SPF 30, how much of that do you have to put on? How thick does it have to be to get that level of protection? So I'd rather have SPF in my skincare or in my primer, and then not worry about it in my foundation. So going back to foundations, it's really important to layer, isn't it? We find with everything, layering the product. So if you're using foundation, we always use a brush, a Real Techniques brush, which I can show you. Have you got that? Oh look, yeah, it's got that there. So we like to do, well, I like to do that personally as well as on time.
Yeah, I mean, if you prefer a sponge, if you like the effect with a sponge, that's not wrong. It's absolutely fine. And some foundation formulas do lend themselves to being applied with a sponge rather than a brush or your fingers. Be careful if you are doing it with your fingers, because you can get the oil from your fingers can melt the makeup. Potentially. So, but some people it can have a really good effect on. But we like this one, the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I just got this one up as well because a lot of people still use, and you can still buy these flat foundation brushes, but you kind of get like a paintbrush effect, you know, this kind of thing. Whereas these ones, you're actually buffing. You get more flawless finish because you're actually buffing it into the skin. Yeah. So we just find the actual application looks better and lasts longer, and Justine's right in applying light layers. So we don't just want one thick layer. When we're doing bridal and a special occasion, we will do 1, 2, 3 very fine layers, and not a blanket coverage. So using more where you need it on the face, and perhaps less where you don't need it. But two fine layers, for example, are always going to look better and last better than one thick layer. I know it's going to take you a little bit longer, but it's worth it to know that your makeup's going to last the day and you're not going to have to worry about doing any touch-ups. So
it's like when you paint your nails, isn't it? If you put one thick coat on, it doesn't look very good, doesn't last very long, but you do 2 thin coats with a top coat, and then it will last you longer and look much better. So that's the way I always try and think about primer and foundation. You know, because I think that's a good way of remembering it, really, because we're all like time poor, aren't we? And we like put some on the back of our hand, and then you can't read it properly either. So
yeah, the temptation is to really kind of put it on thick and fast, but you know, especially if you're going out in the evening, or if you know you've got a long day. But yeah, just spending a few more minutes, and the same with eyeshadows. It is a layering. And all aspects of makeup, blusher, everything. It's a layering of the makeup. That's what makes it look so much more professional.
I think especially with blusher, because I'm sure you found this as well, Leanne, when you're doing makeup lessons, a lot of people are scared of blusher, probably because they've got their blusher and they've swirled the brush round and round and round, and then when they apply it, it looks like Aunt Sally and they can't blend it anywhere. So if you just add a little bit at a time and then keep adding more if you need to, you've got a lot more control over it. Blush is probably one of those things when you get married that you might need to put on more than you normally would do, because so that it shows, so that you still get that lovely blushed effect in the photos, but also it's more likely to wear off a little bit if you're kissing people. If we go back to kissing people, we get that close, things like that. So that's something to bear in mind.
Definitely, that's a great tip. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just be aware of how much pigment is in the color, in your products, in the color. So just be careful about wearing, like Justine says, how much is actually on your brush, and just go easy and build it up in layers. Just want to go back to Nicola's comment. Just want to say hello to Mary and hello to Sharon.
Morning. Thanks for joining us.
Nicola's just asked about the best concealer for dark circles. So we've got a few. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Leanne is absolutely addicted.
Oh yeah, I've always had dark circles, and so I'm always looking for the ultimate in a dark circle concealer. So this goes in the under eye area. We're talking about this area here, and it's always, you know, the color variation is always different to the rest of the face. So I've got a couple of recommendations, and I still keep trying new ones. So again, I go back to the Shape Tape by Tarte. This is really good, even if, you know, like me, you've got wrinkles, you've got fine lines. It does sit well, you know, it gives a good coverage. So it depends on how dark your circles are. The Touche Éclat, which was the original under eye concealer, personally, I don't think it gives a lot of coverage. It's more of just a highlight, you know, an illuminator under the eye. So it's great if you don't have dark circles. The Touche Éclat is fine, because it just highlights and just gives a bit of lift to that under area. But if you need coverage, the Shape Tape by Tarte is absolutely brilliant.
Are you going to add that to your kit, Leanne? You planning?
I have it in my kit. I have a couple of other products as well. So the MAC Mineralize Concealer, which looks like this. They're always in a kind of wand formula, so either a brush or a sponge kind of wand. Is really nice too and gives a good amount of coverage. It's moisturizing, but just be careful about how much you're putting on, and again layering up, because a lot of product comes out in the wand and it might be too much. So I just put a little bit here.
And you can add to it, can't you?
And then I blend with my finger. So something like that lasts me for a year. My own one, not my kit one, but my own one.
You're using about 10 different ones, probably.
I do swap them about, but if you've got dark circles, I do recommend the Shape Tape as well.
You had the Pat McGrath one as well, didn't you? That you were talking about Pat McGrath earlier.
Yeah, I mean, this is a high-end one. It is lovely. It's again, all these sort of products I'm talking about, they're the best. They're the best on the market. They really, really are good. But yeah, Pat McGrath is nice. It's quite expensive, but it is lovely as well.
Apparently, I've gone green on Sharon's TV.
Yeah, I'm just kind of ignoring that.
Am I green?
Not now, no.
Oh my God.
Looking beautiful again.
Okay, thank you for letting us know though, because I don't have a clue what we'll look like. Right, so we've talked about primers and foundations and layering. So we use powder, don't we? Sometimes it depends. I use different powders depending on whether I want to add a little bit more coverage or not, depending on whether they've got oily skin, because obviously the powder can help to absorb excess oil. We'd probably use less powder on someone that is more mature, because it can sit in lines, although a lot of the products nowadays are so finely milled compared to how they used to be years ago. But one of the things that we love to use is setting spray. I've got the NYX ones, which is a brand that Boots sell, and there's a matte finish. Oh no, wrong one, because I'm back to front. There's a matte finish and a dewy finish, depending on how you want your makeup to look, and that really kind of sets everything in place, but without adding more powder to your foundation. And they're really, really good. I've also got Urban Decay. I've got some. They do brilliant ones. This is specifically for oily skin. It's called De-Slick, and this is the all-nighter. So I use those as well. These are a bit more industrial, I would say. They're sort of as I say, I use these most of the time. They're finer sprays. So they're key, aren't they? They're key to us for setting the makeup.
Do you find the NYX one is a finer spray than the spray?
And I've got to be honest, I've used Urban Decay for years. I think they were one of the first brands to do a setting spray. But I think they've changed the formula of it. I don't really like the smell of it. Whereas the NYX doesn't have a smell to it. So I tend to pick that up. And you use that one as well, don't you?
Yeah, so we'd never do a special occasion or bridal makeup without a setting spray. And it isn't so much about the powder these days, but I still love using a powder. And I do focus the powder on the T-zone, because I like to have a nice kind of glow on the cheek, but I don't want to look like an oil slick in the T-zone.
Yeah.
So I've got a variety of powders, and some powders even add a glow. I've got a Laura Mercier Glow, Translucent Glow. That's that one. That's super nice. If your skin's a bit dry and you really want to add some glow, then that one is fantastic. It's really, really good. And it does obviously keep the makeup on better as well. But it does depend on your skin type. So if you've got an oilier skin, then you probably wouldn't like that product.
No. So it's important to do what's right for you and your skin tone, isn't it, really? So Leanne and I would probably go for very different formulas, because we've got very different skin types.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love a powder, because I think a powder still does actually smooth the look of the pores, which is really important when you get older as well. The pores do enlarge, particularly around the nose area. So primers are brilliant for that. If you feel like your pores are really visible, I mean, it could be sort of anywhere on the face, but it tends to be more around the nose. Primers are really good for that, and also powder can just soften that and make it look smoother. So, don't underestimate the power of powder.
Yes. So I'm quite conscious we've only got 5 minutes left. So
yeah,
we were talking, some of the things that we wanted to cover was for bridal or for special occasion, to sort of think in advance what kind of look you want to go for, maybe get some ideas from Pinterest if you use that, and to just start practicing the looks. I mean, when we have a trial with our brides, we sit down and spend quite a bit of time talking to the brides about any colour schemes that may be in the wedding, bridesmaids, dresses, flowers, and try to incorporate those kind of colours. So it's all a very similar palette within the makeup. And also their preferences. Some brides would like a statement lip. Other brides just want to keep it very natural. So it's just about having a little think and a little look around and getting some ideas of pictures of bridal looks that you like or special occasion look, and then you can practice copying them, and that really does help, I think, rather than just picking up a palette and not really knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, we do look at obviously someone's natural skin colouring, eye colouring, hair colouring before we design a bridal look. But it is so unique to you. So it's more of a classic look. You don't want to incorporate really high trend. I mean, we have had when the eyebrow, brow was a big trend. It is still there to some degree, but it's slightly natural, a bit more natural these days.
But that will really date the photos, things like that, won't it? If there's particular trends that you want to incorporate into the makeup, just be aware of how that might look in 20 years time.
Definitely. So you still want to like looking at your photos in 20, 30, 40 years time, hopefully, and don't think, oh yeah, that was that trend, that was the eyebrow trend.
Look at the eyebrows. I know. So I think that's really important to talk about. I would also say it's nice to get a palette with different colours in. I've got this one, which is a MAC palette. This is just a normal palette that they do, but it's got a mixture of colours and textures, so shimmers and mattes that are very good for bridal, and you can practice with that. Urban Decay Naked palettes, Naked 2 is one that I used a lot in bridal as well, and it's worthwhile investing in something like that you can really just play around with the different colours, see how they look on you, whether you want more makeup or less makeup. It's definitely worth investing. When you buy palettes like this as well, all the colours are designed to complement each other. I've forgotten what I was going to say, but yeah, they're good value as well, rather than buying individual. Yeah, that's another one, isn't it?
Yes, these are great because they're really reasonably priced. They're the x9 palette by MAC. And but these do last a long time. They look tiny, but yeah, they've got loads of different colours. So they're really you don't want to buy a really big palette. I've just got another one. This is Skinny Dip. This is more of a special occasion, but it has by Jouer, and it has all kind of shimmers. So these are lovely kind of finishing touches to your makeup. So they can overlay mattes or other colours and just bring that kind of finishing touch to your makeup.
Use an eye primer as well for both special occasion and bridal. That is key for us. I myself have to wear an eye primer every single day because otherwise my eye makeup doesn't last very long at all. So that's really important to use that. So if you find that your eye makeup is something that disappears, or you get light marks up here from your mascara or eyeliner, then that will prevent that. So
I've got there. Yeah, I've got, because actually a lot of people don't realise, and they wonder why their mascara, eyeliner, eye makeup slips off, smudges, things like that. It's because the eye is it's a working part. It enables us to blink and open and close our eyes as much as we comfortably want to and need to. So it's actually very oily on the eyelid, more the socket line. So from the lash line to the socket line, it does vary, but most people it's oily. So and what happens is, even if you're using a powder formula for eyeshadow and eyeliner, it will still crease and slip and smudge potentially. So these little products, and they do last a long time. So I've got a Morph one, and I've got the MAC Prep and Prime, just a tiny amount. Smashbox do nice eye primers as well, or they're sometimes called lid primers. You really need to apply very close to the lash line and up to the socket line. You can do right up to the brow if you want to as well. This area doesn't get quite as oily, but super, super important. Yeah, we didn't mention that earlier. So these are key for going out makeup, special occasion makeup, bridal, absolutely essential to use.
Also, I think for most of the time for brides, we would use a waterproof mascara formulation as well, and generally for everyone in the bridal party. So that's another thing that we would recommend. Now, I think we've come to the end of, I don't even think we've covered everything we wanted to cover, but we could literally sit here all day and talk about makeup. So it's good to put a limit on us, I think. What do you think, Leanne?
Yeah, has anybody got just ask any other final questions? If you've got anything else to ask. Yeah, we didn't cover as much bridal as we would have liked to, really, but we can always answer your questions.
Yeah.
On the comments on that. So
yeah, and even afterwards, if you think of something that you wanted to ask, then just add it onto the page or message us, and that's fine. And don't forget, we've got that Instagram competition running, so go over to our Instagram page and enter that for a chance to win a sort of 1-to-1 or 1-to-2, I suppose, makeup session with me and Leanne, and then you can ask any questions that you specifically have about your makeup, and we'd love to help. So
we do have join us every Monday for Makeup Monday. So that's a video, and it tends to be about 5 minutes long, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the tips every Monday on there, and you can also go to the YouTube channel to see lots of you'll cover. You'll see that we cover lots of these things on our YouTube channel in individual videos. So please take a look at those. One by Lisa, best eyeliner. Are you talking kohl pencil or liquid pencil?
Well, I'm wondering if maybe we should do another thing at some point covering all the different types of eyeliners, the pencils, the gels, the powders, that kind of thing. And also we can talk about lashes, because we didn't get around to talking about lashes, which we wanted to do.
That's good. Yeah, that's a great idea. So would you join us for another live on eyeliner and lashes? That would be, and probably mascara as well. We do have Lisa, there is, again, on the Makeup Mondays and YouTube, we've got eyeliner application and product recommendations, so you can have a look at those. But yeah, I think if we do because I was going to just say, one of the things to transition your makeup from day to evening, or make it more impact, is eyeliner. So that's quite a good one to talk about. So yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks for the feedback, Nicola. That's lovely. I'm really looking forward to doing the trial. I'm looking forward to getting back to doing my lovely makeup. I might need to practice on Perilly. She might have to be practiced on in the meantime. So yeah, oh lovely. Thanks, Lisa, again. So I think we'd better go now, because otherwise we'll go. But thanks for all your comments and questions. Really appreciate it, and we will see you soon.
See you soon. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.